I rise today to join my colleagues in voicing my objection to removing the tie bar in Senate Bill 13. All it does is create even more problems to bad legislation that passed in this chamber. Members in the House knew that getting rid of straight ticket voting was a terrible proposal, but this House tried to make it better by tie barring it to a bill that would allow for no reason absentee voting. Now, that same proposal is back here, only this time the tie bar has been stripped away. Like many of you, I served in local government before joining this chamber and understand the stress of election administration on my local clerk. And she called me about this legislation not that long ago, and we had an in-depth discussion about its implications on her ability to administer an election. She let me know directly of her concerns about eliminating straight party ticket voting, the long lines, its significant ripple effect throughout the day on the balance of voting. But my clerk doesn't just speak as an isolated voice. It's important to listen to all of the voices of all of the county clerks and municipal clerks who offered testimony on this proposal. There was no uproar before this legislation from election clerks and administrators or even voters about issues relating to the current system of straight party voting. Instead, it's this election that causes that uproar. And that's why it was so critical that we tie barred this bill to a proposal that would give voters another option by voting absentee ballot. Without the tie bar, we are making and putting a hardship on voting on our own constituents. We are making it difficult for those who might not know their availability on election day and need more access to absentee voting. Without that tie bar, many of those voters will likely have to leave the line if it's too long to make it to work on time, or can't get off work early enough to vote. Hey, we were here in this chamber on election day until 10:50 at night a month and a half ago. Our work schedule here adds to the case for no reason absentee. The tie bar to no reason absentee voting balanced out a plan that would increase voting lines and wait times with an option that allowed any voter to bypass those lines and still fulfill their civic duty. Removing that tie bar instead is acknowledging to our voters that making voting more difficult and time-consuming is more important to this legislature than encouraging citizens to vote. Michigan's already has the sixth longest wait time to vote in the nation, and now, because we're removing this tie bar, those waits are going to be even longer. And that's why I can't understand why we are stripping out a tie bar that would ease access to voting and encourage more people to participate on election day. I'm voting no on the concurrence of Senate Bill 13, and I urge my colleagues to vote against it as well.
The clerk will tally, display, and announce a vote.
Mr. Speaker, on the question concurring on the House substitute as amended to Senate Bill 1-3, there are 54 aye votes and 52 nay votes.
A majority of the members elected and serving having voted therefore, the House substitute to the Senate bill as amended is concurred in.